So in today's video, I'll be explaining what exactly Postinor-2 does to our human body now, the female body, right? How these drugs delays ovulation, the hormone it mimics, the mechanism of action if Postinor-2 is actually safe taking every month or anytime you have sex. So if you're the type that takes Postinor-2 anytime you have unprotected sex, I want you to pay attention to this video because you're going to understand how these drugs actually works. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, you are welcome. Do it to hit the notification bell so that anytime I post a new video, you'll be notified. My name is Uchechi Chizendu and I'm a clinical physiologist. Now let's get into business. First of all, Postinor-2 is an emergency contraceptive pills. Emergency meaning that this drug is not supposed to be used regularly. Now listen, Postinor-2 is not an abortion pill. That's a very important point to take note because some persons mistake these drugs for an abortion pill. No, it's not an abortion pill. It is a contraceptive, not just a contraceptive, an emergency contraceptive. When we say Postinor-2 is not an abortion pill, what we really mean is that these drugs works before pregnancy begins, not really after pregnancy. Medically, pregnancy begins when a fertilized egg attaches to the womb, what we call implantation. Postinor-2 act before that stage, so it prevents pregnancy rather than ending it. Now let's go deeper into the hormone. Postinor-2 contains a hormone called levonorgestrel. Now listen up. Levonorgestrel is a synthetic form of the hormone which mimics the hormone progesterone. Progesterone is a natural hormone your body produces every month, especially after ovulation. Its main job is to prepare your womb for possible pregnancy, to regulate your menstrual cycle, and to support early pregnancy if fertilization occurs, to enable implantation to happen. So what happens if you take Postinor-2? You are basically taking higher than normal dose of progesterone-like hormone. It's a synthetic form of the hormone progesterone. So when you take Postinor-2, you are indirectly taking the synthetic form of this hormone progesterone. You are taking a higher dose of it at once. This sudden hormone boost sends signals to your brain and reproductive organs, that's your reproductive system, that basically ovulation has already happened. No need to release egg. This confuses or overrides your body's normal timing. Now you need to understand that your cycle is controlled by communication between your brain and your ovaries. That's your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland, and your ovaries. The brain releases hormone, that's your FSH and LH, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. So this hormone triggers ovulation, is what tells your ovaries when to release egg. So when you take levonorgestrel, that's Postinor-2, it suppresses or delays the surge of the hormone LH, that's luteinizing hormone, the hormones that trigger ovulation. So without that surge of LH, that's without the rise of AH, the ovaries may not release egg. That is why AH must rise before ovulation happens. So if the ovary does not release an egg, fertilization will not happen, right? So if fertilization does not happen, pregnancy will not happen also, right? So Postinor-2 works by interrupting this process. It can stop or delay ovulation. If your body have not yet released an egg, Postinor-2 can delay ovulation. Now listen up, Postinor-2 is supposed to be taken before ovulation, not after ovulation. So if you take these drugs after ovulation, the effectiveness decreases. That it might not even work because its main function is either to delay ovulation or even to stop the ovulation from happening. These drugs is not designed to prevent implantation of an already fertilized egg. The drug does not work that way. Its main purpose is to delay ovulation and not to, prevent implantation from happening. Another thing that Postinor-2 does is that it thickens your cervical mucus. It makes the mucus in your cervix to be more thicker, and when that happens, it becomes harder for the sperm to swing through and reach the egg. So even if sperm is present, it makes it harder to survive or even swim. And another thing Postinor-2 does is that it may affect the uterine lining. Postinor-2 can slightly change the lining of the womb. This makes it less suitable for implantation to happen. But listen carefully, it does not remove an already implanted pregnancy. I mentioned this earlier. I'll be answering some questions some persons are curious to know. And number one question is, does Postinor-2 affect future fertility? The answer is no. When Postinor-2 is correctly used as an emergency contraceptive pills, it does not affect fertility. It is a safe medication, and studies have shown no evidence that using this pill can cause future infertility. However, some common myths and misunderstandings surround its uses. Postinor-2 is designed for use after unprotected sex, that's after you have sex with someone unprotected, not as a regular form of birth control. Frequent or prolonged misuse of this medication is a serious concern. Using this pill repeatedly in the same menstrual cycle or as a primary contraceptive can lead to hormonal imbalance and irregular period. Remember, this drug is a synthetic form of the hormone progesterone. So when you take Postinor-2 frequently, repeatedly in just a cycle, that's higher dose of progesterone you are pumping into your body, and this can delay your ovulation. And if it keeps reoccurring, keeps taking it every month like that, repeatedly, it can disrupt your hormone. It can cause irregular menstrual cycle. This irregular menstrual cycle may make it more harder to predict ovulation, potentially leading to a perceived reduction in the chance of getting pregnant in a short term, but it does not cause permanent infertility. Normal ovarian function and fertility are expected to return about within 1 or 2 months after stopping this medication. See your healthcare provider if you do not get your period within 3 weeks of taking these tablets. Now, another question people are curious to know, and it says, should Postinor-2 be taken every month or every day? The answer is no, not at all. Postinor-2 is called an emergency contraceptive pills for a reason. It is meant for an unexpected situation, not for regular use. You only use it when there's an emergency, when something goes wrong. And timing is very important when taking this pill, that's Postinor-2. It should be taken as soon as possible. Best taking within 24 hours, but you can still take it within 72 hours, that's about 3 days. Now, for the third question, it says, will I feel anything after taking it? That's after taking Postinor-2. The answer is yes. Your body may react because of the hormone. Now, common effects include nausea, slight abdominal discomfort, breast tenderness. So we may even notice that their next period may even come earlier than it usually is, or maybe even later than it usually is. Some might even notice light spotting or light bleeding. All these are usually temporary and settles on their own, so do not panic. So this is why you shouldn't misuse these drugs. It's not something you take every day, anytime you have unprotected sex. It doesn't work that way. You only take these drugs before your ovulation, not after ovulation has happened. Before ovulation, just to prevent ovulation. It's not something you take anytime you have unprotected sex, and it's not something you take every month. No. As a matter of fact, this drug is recommended for use only once per menstrual cycle. It's not something you take every day or anytime you have unprotected sex. No, you take it only once per cycle. Why there is no absolute legal or physical limit or how many times you can take it in your lifetime, using it more than once in a single menstrual cycle is strongly discouraged for several reasons. Do not take Postinor-2 every day. Don't make it as your monthly contraceptive plan. Do not take it repeatedly in a single cycle unless absolutely necessary. Long-time use or misuse of this medication can affect your hormones. It can cause irregular periods. It can even reduce its effectiveness. It can increase stress and anxiety. Using Postinor-2 too often is like consistently resetting your body's natural rhythm, the way your body is supposed to, the process is supposed to follow. Now, your body loves balance, so stop disrupting your hormones. Make sure that you take these drugs accordingly. Don't misuse it. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to give a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share. Bye.